Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Christian Recorder Dialogues here, all the way from the 14th Episcopal District. It is my great delight to be here with the pastor of the flagship AME Church, Reverend Michael Inu. Reverend Inu, be welcome to the Christian Recorder Dialogues. Thank you for hosting us here in Accra, Ghana.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to have you visiting us.
God bless you. As well as you would say, I believe the greeting is...
I'll tell you Akwaba.
Yes.
And Medasi.
Medasi. Sure. Yes, Medasi. Yes. So, as you know, we have been traveling throughout the 14th Episcopal District, and we are here in Bethel, Accra. And the AME Church has a very interesting story here in Ghana. But before we get to that story, tell us about you, Reverend Inu. How did you become a pastor of the AME Church?
Thank you very much. My name is Reverend Michael Inu. I've been a member of the AME Church from infancy. I was part of the YPD. We grew to become the young people department, and we grew up, and then eventually, but growing up, I had a heart and a desire for God and for the things of God. I mean, we go to Sunday school, all the quotations and the rest are in our memories. I mean, we just loved it. For us, we were doing it out of love. But I strongly believe God was really up to something. So with time, it grew into something else. And when I came to my young age, I began to sense that strong desire and passion for the things of God. So that is how it started. But then, way back in the 90s, somewhere 1997, I moved from Kumasi to Accra to pursue my HND in refrigeration and air conditioning. So I went to the Accra Polytechnic, now the Accra University, Technical University. Upon completion, the urge and the passion for ministry was stronger, extremely strong. So I remember walking up to the same place, this office, where I met the then minister, Reverend C.C. Coleman, as you can see there. And I told him, this is what I believe God is telling me. And he said, well, as far as he's concerned, he doesn't dispute my call, but he thinks I need to get myself educated. So under his recommendation, he guided me to study at the Trinity Theological Seminary here in Accra. So that was from 2001 through to 2004. Came up with a diploma in ministry. And then from there, another thing led on. But I was admitted to conference in 1999 under the leadership of Bishop Richardson. And then, for some reasons, I didn't come to the conference the year 2000, but I came 2001. So to continue, by the year 2002, I was ordained a deacon, and by Bishop Norris. And then 2004, I was also ordained an elder, same by Bishop Norris. Now, when I completed the seminary 2004 and ordained an elder, I remember Bishop Norris calling me downstairs and telling me, Michael, I haven't completed. What do you have? What do you have in mind? And I said, Bishop, I'm at your disposal. So he said there was the need for me to also contribute my quota to the growth of the church. So my first assignment was the first AME church in Ghana, in the then Gold Coast, Bethel in Esikado. But for some reasons, it didn't materialize. So for a whole year, I didn't take up that appointment. But thank God, 2005, Bishop Daniels came. And then he gave me an appointment to Kumasi. That is Bishop Norris AME. Interestingly, that is where I grew up. You know, I had left Kumasi to Accra. And now I was brought back to Kumasi. And that is the church. So you come to the church and you see the elders, even my teachers, had become members and had become the pastor. So that is 2004. 2005, I pastored the Bishop Norris AME Church from 2005 to 2013. That is 8 years. And then 2013, under the leadership of Bishop Few, I was transferred to Bishop Hatcher, which happens to be, let me say, the strongest church in the Ashanti district in Kumasi. So I pastored Bishop Hatcher from 2008, from 2013 to 2019. And then under the leadership of His Lordship Bishop MacLeod Jr., I was transferred to Bethel here in Accra, Ghana. So I've been here from 2019 to date.
So one of the things that I noticed coming up the road to the church, and a few things for those of you who are watching. First of all, Accra is on the coast and it's known as the city, and part of the reason why the city exists was because of the transatlantic slave trade. Yeah. Kumasi is in the heart of the Ashanti Kingdom. It's about 4.5 hours drive from here. Yeah. So you just said that our strongest building is not in the capital, but it's in Kumasi, which is in the north. But you referred
in the middle.
In the middle. That's right. And you referred to Accra, if you will, as the eye of Ghana.
Yeah.
And you said that Bethel is the eye. So tell us about the unique history of this church and how it plays into the church landscape of Ghana. Because let me tell you something, there are a whole lot of churches in this country.
Yeah. Okay, so so the history has it that in the then Gold Coast, 1935, the AME Church came to Ghana, or Gold Coast rather. There are two schools of thought. There is one presiding elder Campbell, who's a Sierra Leonean, and there's one Judith Onike Randa, who's also a Sierra Leonean, but was a Wesleyan Methodist. And she was into evangelization in the Escado enclave. It became viable. So when Dr. Campbell came to Gold Coast, they collaborated. Whereas some school of thought believe it was Campbell, others believe it was Randall. I'm of the opinion that it was a collaboration between the two.
Okay.
And that with the support of the then king, Ananketia, I think the first or second year. So they established the AME Church in the then Gold Coast. Then she spread. That is the woman. She spread to the Onika Randall.
Wow.
She's a Sierra Leonean. She spread the church into the Ashanti District, that is where we have Kumasi. And Kumasi, they found a very big plot of land. And one thing, they've always worked with the chiefs. So if we went to Kumasi and we saw our plot of land, it's that vast. That's where we have Bishop Hatcher. And that was the church I left to Bethel. Then it also went on to other places. But the work in Accra somehow got fizzled out along the line. It was not until 1993, when Reverend C.C. Coleman had completed ITC from Atlanta, Georgia. And then he came down. And so with the support of Bishop Henning, they established Bethel AME Church. Because Bishop Henning was of the opinion that because Bethel is the face, Accra is the face or the entry point in Ghana, it was necessary to have a church, our presence in the Accra district. So we have a very big building. You said Hatcher is let's say the nicest. But when you talk about size, Bethel is the biggest.
Wow. And something that struck me being here, walking around the church, seeing there was this prayer celebration commemorating Bishop Henning's memory.
Sure.
And just thinking about, I remember Bishop Henning's funeral and the love he had for Africa.
Yeah.
And I remember at the funeral, this was something that was unique. They had African drummers come in and there was a libation. And I think that some people, if you knew Bishop Henning, you knew Henning's love for Africa and the diaspora.
Yeah.
But there were some people who were like, we have a bishop's funeral and they're playing drums. What's going on here? And today at service, tell our viewers the hymn of fellowship. How did we do the hymn of fellowship? What did we do?
Interestingly, about 2 weeks ago, the daughter, Dr. Henry Silam, was here. We held a global prayer meeting. It was massive. We brought people from all the churches in the Accra district. By the way, we have 3 other branches in Accra, but Bethel is the main or the biggest. So we brought people from other faiths. It was not only an AME thing. We had people from different churches who all came together. Then we prayed and we did a very nice program. Now, when the daughter came around, and as part of the program, we read a letter about Bishop Henning. And for me, Bishop Henning is a Ghanaian. Oh yes. Maybe he might have grown up there, but I'm inclined to believe that somehow, somewhat, he's a Ghanaian. Only I don't know the day he was born. I would have given him a Ghanaian name. So his heart and his passion for the church is very important, and it has really helped. So Bethel has become the face of AME Church in Ghana by virtue of where it is located. And anytime our brothers and sisters come from the diaspora, they don't hesitate to join us to worship. We are proud to have you preach this morning was a powerful message. God bless you, sir.
They let me speak here this morning, and after the service, because it was Communion Sunday,
Sure.
we had the hymn of fellowship, and the drummers
Yes.
that work with Bishop Henning's daughter,
yeah,
help do the hymn of celebration.
Yeah. That is, you see, we need to bring all of these people into the church, because at times either we sideline them or they withdraw. And when they see that we are available, we are opening our doors to them for them to come in, they come in. And I'm happy today they have to sing. They have always looked for an opportunity to do it, but they've not been able to come as a team. They come one-on-one. But today we enjoy. Do you see the response of the people?
Yes.
And you see, the rhythms and the songs they were playing was more traditional.
Yes.
So people could easily identify. And even the dance they were dancing all had meanings. So it was a beautiful thing, and we are going to keep it and maintain it.
And those of you who watch the interview, you probably at some point will have seen the video. It's either going to be in this interview or in the clip, but we took video of that so you could see.
Yeah.
So being in Ghana, one of the things we also notice in this church is that there are a lot of churches in Ghana.
Sure.
There are also a lot of Methodist churches in Ghana.
Sure.
Can you tell us about the relationship between the AME Church, the AME Zion Church here, the CME Church, and the Methodist Church of Ghana?
Thank you very much. Yeah. My research indicates that there are about 80 Methodist branches in the world. And AME Church is part of the worldwide Methodist fraternity. Now you come to Ghana too. We have the Christian Council of Ghana. And the Christian Council of Ghana encompasses a lot of churches. But interestingly, we have the AMEs, the AME Zions, the Christian Methodists, the Free Methodists, and the Mainstream Methodists. So technically, Ghana, we have about 5 Wesleyan fraternities. And we call ourselves cousins.
Yes.
Yeah. So our relationship has been very cordial. I mean, we do everything together. I mean, we do everything together. Anytime there is a meeting, we need to meet, we share thoughts. So basically, we have a very good relationship among us as Methodists in Ghana.
And what about the size of the AME Church here relative to our other Methodist cousins?
Well, let's say the Mainstream Methodist Church is extremely bigger. Then you also have the Zionites, which also sizable, it's also good. We have the CMEs, we have the AMEs. So we are all here, but then in terms of numbers, DS or the Methodists, the Mainstream Methodists, they are far larger than us. But when it comes to the Zionites and of course, we are all in it. We are all in it. We have about 20-25 branches in Ghana. They may have more. Yeah, but
okay. So we were talking earlier about some of the unique challenges the AME Church has faced in Ghana to expand, because like you said, there's the Methodist Church in Ghana that was the church founded by the British, and then AME Zion has been here for years. In fact, they have a bishop resident in Ghana. CME, they also have a strong presence, and the AMEs, comparatively speaking, only have about less than 30 churches. So what have been some of the challenges the AME churches had to face here?
I keep using the word intentionality. We have not been very intentional, and we have to. What I mean by intentionality is that our presence, and I remember as far back as 2005 thereabout, Bishop Daniels, we were in Kumasi, we went to town, and he was saying our identity is a challenge. Because from my thesis, the Zionization, anytime you talk about AME, the average person will use Zion. It's because the similarity of our name, AME Church, AME Zion, even up to date, there are times we even go to programs, we pay, and when they announce, they say AME Zion. So until and unless we work on our identity, and 2 approaches. 1, if we make the strongest impact, it will be clear. If not, I would suggest we reverse it to, our mother church is Bethel AME Church. That is in the States. So if we could adapt, because you have the AME Zion, then you could have other congregations underneath. But when it comes to the AME Church, it is AME Church. So the temptation for people to Zionize it is very high.
And it's interesting that you say that, because of a historical footnote, when the AME Church was founded in 1816 after our first general conference, and AME Zion had their first general conference in 1820.
Later.
We were known as the Bethelites. They were known as the Zionites.
Wow.
But over time, and this is probably something that I know our viewers who are AMEs are like, how is that? Because in the US, the reverse is true. People may say AME Zion, but think AME. So all the time, what happens is they say AME, people are like, no, this is AME Zion. They're like, well, we only know the AME Church. We don't really are familiar with Zion. So in the US, it's in many places the reverse.
And it was part of
AME Zion.
It was part of my recommendation in my thesis. We had to go back and stick to that Bethel stuff. Let's maintain a standard thing. Bethel AME Church. If you want to name the temple of the congregation after anybody, let's say Bethel AME Church, Bishop A Temple, Bishop B Temple, whatever temple. In that sense, to give us a unique and a standard identity.
Interesting.
Until and unless we do that, we still have identity challenges.
And it's interesting again that we're talking 200 years after our founding, but in a different context, we still are trying to establish that AME identity uniquely here. Wow. So let's talk about some of the other individual challenges. I mean, one of the things that we talked about has been your love of education, but also, sadly, the lack of education among our ministers. So let's talk about manpower challenges.
It's a big challenge. And I've always said, we need to build human capacity in terms of the ministry. We need human resource, education, where we train our people. I dare say humbly that officially I am the last person to be educated from the AME fraternity among the ministers. And I left 2004. So it's about 11 years now. So it's more than 11.
No, it's more
21
than
years.
21 years.
21 years now. And one thing is the other churches are training their ministers. So when you meet or when you are moving, it becomes a disadvantage to us. So education is important. And thank God we have what it takes to educate our ministers. We have the universities in the States. What stops us from sponsoring some of these people intentionally, empowering them, bringing them back to continue? If we can't do that, why don't you also take advantage of the very good seminaries and education institutions here in Ghana and what have you, and sponsor them too? Because unless and until one is sponsored, you don't have the means. We will always have ministers who are not in quote that trained, and that poses a challenge. And the element of respectability becomes questioned and acceptance.
And I know this is ironic because, you know, we are a church that is founded on having an educated ministry. And to hear that you were the last pastor with
the official
training, and it's been almost 20 years. And furthermore, you actually want to get VMDiv, but you've applied to paying how many times?
Severally. And currently, I have an admission. I've been accepted as far as almost 2 years now, and they are waiting for me to come up. But I don't have the resources, and my heart bleeds because this is our mission. This is our church. Somehow, somewhere, there should be a facility that will ensure, especially for those of us coming from places like this. And it will help because, if we don't equip human resources, if you don't equip the ministers, I dare say, and this problem has persisted from years because you know what? The first indigenous person to break into leadership in the AME Church in Gold Coast, not in Ghana, in Ghana, Gold Coast, Ghana, was somewhere in the 1970s. All the people in the church were, in quote, non-Ghanaians. And indigenization is key. You don't have an indigenous church member. You don't have an indigenous church leader. So let's say repatriation comes and they move. They take the church away. That is why our challenge has been. And now, the reason why in Ghana, some places, if you went to Kumasi, the church is thriving because we had a certain amount of indigenous people. But if generally you came to the beginning of the genesis of the AME Church, it was not there.
And so it's important for people to understand that how the AME Church grew in many countries in Africa is that missionaries would go across borders. But at some point, the missionaries have to train people who are there. And the church has to take on the life of the people there. And if it doesn't, the church won't be strong. And one of the things that we discussed was that in Ghana, AME Zion and CME rooted in Ghanaians, whereas we did not until recently. So if I could ask Reverend Inu, Where do you see the AME Church going next here in the next 4 to 8 years? Where do you see us?
If we should improve on our approach to things, I see us growing. But if we should stick to what we are doing now, my fear will be it will not go that far. Reason being that the church will not collapse. The church will still be there. But in terms of impact and influence, it will be neither here nor there. And I mean, we have been here from 1935 to 2019. Well, 70 plus 80 years.
Yes.
And we are not really making that strong impact. So I think whether how far we will go or will not go depends on what we are doing as at now. So I keep saying we should be intentional.
Intentional.
The truth of the matter, there's a challenge. AME Church, we have a challenge. I'm not saying it's not surmountable. It's something that we can do. And we need to really intentionally sit down, work it out, groom people we can call our own. One thing that also happened was all this while they have been, I'm using the word foreigner, not foreigner in the sense that you are not a Ghanaian, but people are not AMEs. And somehow they find themselves in leadership. So they don't get it.
So one of the things that I know has been a bright spot has been partnerships with the United States.
Sure.
And you were talking about one partnership that's emerging. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, somewhere last year, the presiding elder of the 2nd District, Dr. Weaver came around. We're having a major challenge, and we discussed with him. But he's having something. He's doing something major in the East Africa. So he said he was going to see what he can do. Somehow he talked to some people, and Reverend Kevin Brown, Silver Spring,
Allen
AME Church,
Silver Spring,
yes, and the church organized themselves to come and support us.
Wow!
And thank God, their support really helped us. We're having a big problem at the manse. It was somehow breaking down, but with the support, we've been able to at least sustain or prevent it from coming down, and other things happen. And how we pray and wish this thing will continue. If it continued, I'm telling you, directly or indirectly, you see the church growing up, and it will have a ripple effect on the people. Because many people don't really want to come in because what they see. What I'm trying to say is, you look at the road network,
and you'll see the road and some of the photos.
Yes, and so I want to plead with our brothers and sisters wherever they might be listening to us to really think about the church in Africa, in West Africa, in Ghana, in Accra, Bethel, and all the other churches. Come in and help raise the church, because this is the face of AME Church in Ghana. And if we don't really develop it very well, it becomes a scar. That's the word I wanted to use. To be a scar on the conscience of the AME Church connectionally. And
one of the things that's interesting to me is that in the discipline that's been there for about at least 40 years is Operation Partner and Ministry.
Yeah.
AME churches at every level, local, conference, Episcopal District, are supposed to go find partners outside. One church in Silver Spring, through the support of their presiding elder, found you. And we know that as you watch this, there are other AME churches that can reach out. And
the last, about 2-3 years ago, Pastor Love came with a team.
Harold Love from Lee Chapel.
Dr. Billing.
Yeah.
All of them, they came around. They did what they could. But I recall Pastor Love, through his church, also came to support Bethel here and there. So it has always been partnership. There is another person, I don't know if you would want me to mention his name, but then he also comes to help from time to time. So individually, collectively, and I'm imagining if we could expand that thing.
And the word is intentional.
Intentional, that's the word. Intentional.
Partners. Wow.
And let me say this. You might think what I have is small. What is small there can do something big here.
And that's something you all need to hear as well. There are members, there's a story I always love to tell about the church in Oklahoma. There's a church in Oklahoma that they only had 5 members. Those 5 members for Thanksgiving would buy 2 turkeys apiece.
Wow.
And they said, look, we may only have 5 members, but we can give 10 turkeys.
Wow.
And they were written up in the newspaper because they said, what, you're doing ministry? You only have 5 members. It's like, we may have 5 members, but we can do something. And so whatever membership you have, whatever you can do, find a partner somewhere to help.
And Bethel is ready for partnership. And all the churches in Ghana, and by extension, all the churches. But strategically, Bethel is beckoning. Come over, not to Macedonia, but to Bethel and help and support. so that we move it ahead. That is my heart. That is my passion. When I see that, because I think they are not better than us in any way. What they have, we have. But we are here to give it expression. We are here to give it expression. And by doing some of these things, it will help our presence and our identity to come out clear. And I can assure you, we'll be proud of our church. Our leaders have done a lot. For me, I came to meet Bishop Bryant, Bishop Henning, Bishop Richardson, Bishop Norris, Bishop Daniels, Bishop Few, Bishop MacLeod, and Bishop Kawimbe. I've walked under all of them, and I'm seeing the potential that exists in the church. And like I said, I'm here because somehow I was spotted and empowered in terms of my training and the rest.
Wow.
In the same vein, if that thing had been carried on further, I can assure you we'll go through easily. We can.
Wow.
And like I said, it's not a problem, because in extreme case, we have our schools in the States. Let's be intentional. Let's set aside a certain kind of facility that will cater solely for people of such. Let's say maybe every year we sponsor maybe 1, 2, blah, blah, blah people to educate themselves here and there. And with time.
What's interesting is that that's something that we used to do.
Yeah.
And perhaps we need to try to be more
intentional. We need to come back. That again. Intentionality. One word I want us to carry from Bethel is intentionality.
Wow. Reverend Inu, thank you for being a wonderful host.
Wow.
Thank you for being here and allowing us. I remember when I came off the airport, the driver who came to get us said, "Welcome home."
Wow.
And yes, Medasi.
Medasi.
You have made us feel here welcome.
Yeah.
Because this is our home.
Yeah.
And these are seeds that have been watered and planted by people. And we hope that they will be watered so the increase can come.
Yeah.
Reverend Inu, thank you, sir. And thank you all for watching. And we'll see you again on another episode of the Chris Recorder Dialogues.